On today's episode of the Real Recovery Podcast, episode number 74, we are honored to welcome Andrea L., a cherished friend whose journey exemplifies never giving up and the power of coming back to recovery. Join hosts Julie and Peter as they explore Andrea's story of resilience, the lessons learned from moments of struggle, the humor and candor that fuel healing, and the importance of community support. Tune in for an inspiring conversation that highlights authentic recovery, hope in adversity, and why persistence is central to every transformation.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Recovery Podcast. I'm Julie, your co-host. On this journey of healing and transformation, together with my co-host Peter, we dive into the heart of recovery, sharing stories that resonate with courage and inspiration.
That's right, Julie. Each episode is a new chapter in this vast narrative of recovery, and we're honored to bring them to you. But keep in mind, the perspectives you'll hear are for informational purposes only and may not reflect the views of the podcast or our partners.
Indeed, while these conversations can be a powerful part of your recovery toolkit, they are not substitute for professional medical advice. We encourage you to seek guidance from your healthcare provider for any treatment-related decisions.
And if you're facing an immediate crisis, or if you just need to talk to someone who understands, don't hesitate to call the Recovery Crisis Line at 503-223-8569. That number is also on our website. Help is available 24/7.
Now let's begin our episode
Of recovery, real recovery.
Oh, hi, Andrea.
Oh boy, hi.
Don't stress about anything. We're in Studio H.
We're just
Welcome
sitting
to
here.
the-
It just happens that there's mics in front of us, but we're just talking like we were.
And my face is bright red. It'll be
You'll forget
It'll
about
lessen.
the mic. I promise
You're lucky
you.
because we're still in just the audio stage. At some point, we're talking about we need to do video.
video. Oh,
So-
listen to Peter now that he's thin and even gorgeouser. We're going to have to wait till I catch up with you.
This is the Real Recovery Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Peter, if you haven't guessed,
I'm
with,
Julie.
and our guest today.
Is Andrea. Andrea is one of my good friends from extended family. I don't know. We bonded a couple years ago.
yeah.
Matter of fact, I figured throughout this podcast, I was going to convince you to take over Spin the Wheel on Wednesday nights since you're
Oh.
doing such a good job.
I do like Wednesday night spin the wheel.
Yeah. So that's my goal by the end of this meeting. I talked her into Tuesday nights and she did it for like a year.
Yeah, it was a little over a year.
So
That probably kept me sober like for longer chunks of time than
that's
anything.
why I did it. That's what I always do.
It's very smart.
Yeah.
It's tricky, but it's smart.
So don't worry about anything. You can even say fucking.
Well,
But yeah, I love it. And there's no wrong or right. Like I told you, that's the best thing about it is they're real stories of
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it. And I think people judge sometimes by my story, right? Oh, my story's not that bad. That's good, first of all.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to
It's
prison.
not a contest.
Exactly. It's like my daughter. She hasn't had to get in trouble, and I love that. So I think that's good. And I think when people hear your story, the message I get from your story is, first of all, my favorite speech by Jim Valvano, never give up. Okay. And second thing is keep coming back.
yeah,
I'm scared to go out.
I think that's reasonable.
I'm fucking scared.
Yeah.
Probably because I did lose all my freedom. You know?
Yeah.
Talk about a bottom.
Yeah.
But Peter, when you're talking about that 33-inch waist, no, it does take me back to
Using.
prison, to boot camp when I came out like in
Right.
She-Ra, and I had a 34 waist. When I went in there, I had a 39-40 waist. And when I came out of there, I wore 34 pants. And I was like fucking Hercules. Yeah.
I was talking, I had breakfast with one of my closest friends today, and we were talking about me coming out of the podcast and about how I was like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm very generic. I'm like a very generic drunk story. And then she begins to tell me stories that she remembers of me. I was like, yeah, they're still generic. Like, they're terrible. But one thing we were talking about is weight. It's like, I remember I was so thin that was the one thing that came out of my addiction. And she's like, and she said, yes, you were thin and you looked terrible. This was not
The only 3 times I've been
Yeah.
skinny was I was at Grand Central Bowling Alley and I had just shot up and I put a quarter in the weight machine and it said 123. And I was tweaking so hard, I went and bought a roll of quarters and
yeah,
kept
that's
going
right.
on the scale because I couldn't believe it. And I had ribs and I looked horrible.
Yeah.
You know what you think looks good is
Yeah.
Well,
horrible.
because when you're in it, you think you're fabulous. I always was like, I'm the life of the party. I'm fabulous. And I've met others who are in that same space that I used to be in. And I'm like, oh boy, that was me. How sad.
Yeah.
Because I was not fabulous at all.
And it's so
No.
not attractive. And I will tell you, when I first got in the program, because I was skinny during addiction, I didn't care how much I weighed because I wasn't sticking a needle in my
Yeah.
arm. That catches up with you too, but I'm just saying, to this day,
Yeah.
I would choose thick.
I mean, it certainly, I probably have gained 60 pounds over the last 30, well, yes, 3 getting sober. And now, but I definitely ate sugar like it was my job.
Yeah.
And that is just what happens for folks who are coming off alcohol. Like that sugar base isn't there anymore. So you have to constantly. So I was eating M&Ms. I ate all the things. And it's just now where I'm like, okay, we've done this.
And I think, like Roger says, and the one thing he says that's the most truthful thing is we're addicted to more. And
Sure.
the sugar got me diabetes. And I'm not glad to have diabetes, but I'm grateful. Because just like when you say you're an alcoholic or an addict and it draws the line in the sand, that line in the sand saying you can't have this, it's not healthy for you, made me realize this is yet another addiction.
Sure.
Yeah. What was healthy in the beginning is not healthy now.
Yeah, I know when I got sober and it, like you said, the sugar, oh my gosh.
They call it the freshman 30.
And before I went through this cancer treatment, I was 55 pounds heavier. It was like 230 pounds and a 38 pushing 40-inch waist. And I would never recommend cancer as a way to get skinny. But I'm now close to where I was when I was in college. And
you still looked good, just so you know, with thickness.
I knew, but I was at that point, whether I had cancer or not, that I was like, okay, I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm sober. I'm in recovery, doing well. Now it's time to focus on
Get healthy.
because I was like, no holds barred, bring on the sugar. It was
100%.
Yeah. And he's married to Slick Sugar. So his husband is small and petite and can eat anything.
People can just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not in my genes.
Mine either.
No.
So let's go to how you know where you came from and how you got to where you needed help. When did you realize it?
Yeah. I've done a lot of thinking about this. I think I didn't realize I came from such a line of folks that have addictions. I grew up, both my parents are from the Midwest. My dad's dad was a World War II vet. My mom's mom grew up in the Depression, and she was very much somebody that grew up in the Depression. Like the woman kept everything, like not hoarding status, but just kept everything. Was very, people I felt were so busy. They didn't talk about emotions. They didn't talk about what's happening in real time. And that was given down to me growing up. I had great parents, but it's not like it is now where we talk about things that are happening, mental health, things that happened in the past, people having addictions. That's like for other people. Like other people have addictions. And even then it wasn't really talked about. So I didn't realize how many people in my generations have had alcoholism, have battled with mental health, and all those folks lived in the Midwest and we were here. So I wasn't really exposed.
So you didn't see it.
I didn't see it. And I think when my mom passed away, I wasn't equipped. I was 23. So I wasn't a kid, but I wasn't really an adult. And she was my person. Like I went to her for everything. Now, did I tell her everything? No. But I would go to her.
Do we ever?
Yeah. But, she was a nurse for years, and she was always the one who would, anything was wrong, take a Motrin. Somehow that's going to fix everything. And so when my mom passed away, I just didn't know what to do. I had 2 siblings. They're both older than me. And my dad just faltered. He just was not really there for us. It was really all about him. And then I think that's when my drinking started to really get out of control a bit, but not enough, because I was still 23, and it's like every 23-year-old drinks. Like this isn't that big of a deal. I got married at 24 to this guy that my mom basically got us back together. I mean, she did. Like when she had cancer, she said, I think you should start talking to Chris. You should tell him I have cancer. This is his mom. You would want to know. And I thought, that is so weird. So I did. And we ended up getting married when I was 24. We're still married.
I love that. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I love Chris.
Oh, yeah.
I love your brother-in-law, Matthew.
Yeah. Matthew got me into the room.
I need to get him on the show.
Yes. You should. And I've known the Llewellyn family, which I don't know if I'm supposed to say last names. I've known.
There's no wrong or right.
Okay. I know my family. I've known them since I was 18. That's when I first met Chris. And we'd broken up for those 3 years. And then when my mom got sick, that's when she said I should go tell him. Like I had a beeper when I met Chris. First of all, why did I have a beeper? Like I wasn't involved in anything that needed a beeper.
I had a beeper when I ran the escort service.
Yes, that makes sense.
With an 800 number. So yes, I paid extra for that.
Classy.
Yeah, I was classy. I didn't need one.
Funny.
Yeah. But anyways,
it was cool though.
Totally cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if you didn't sell drugs.
Yeah, and I did.
I'm saying because it was before cell phones.
Yeah, it was before cell phones. And we didn't end up having kids, and life goes on. And I say the kid part because I don't know if it would have been different, or would I have just been somebody who continued to drink like they did and then end up having kids and mess them up. I don't know, but we didn't have kids. So it may have given me even more of a license to be like, there's not anybody I have to worry about except myself or Chris. And he's fine. Like, he's doing okay, even though it was really hard to live with me.
Is he a normie?
He is. Yeah.
That's just my Justin's the normie.
Yeah.
Chris's straight version of Justin. No, seriously, he's a saint.
Yeah.
He's a good dude for real. Yeah.
Really good guy. The things that my family has been through since I've met Chris is like there's just been a lot. My dad I ended up getting guardianship of my dad when I was 34, maybe 35, because he had a brain surgery that didn't go well, and it took all of his frontal lobe out, which is where all of our executive functioning lives, all of our decision-making lives.
Is that what got you interested in your job?
No, I've been doing social work since 24 years, probably.
Wow.
In some sort of capacity. And I didn't know much about the hospitals until my dad got sick. I had to really figure out what kind of care he needed and what we were looking at. When he first came out of surgery, I noticed that his face, his left side of him, it was clear as day to me that he had a stroke. He was in ICU. Nobody's around him. And I just started screaming through the ICU. He needs help. Something's happening. They kicked me out of ICU. And then you're worried about the physicals, because he couldn't walk and he couldn't really talk very well. And he really did really well throughout that and gained all that stuff back. So we thought he was fine until he's calling me up and saying, I'm going to buy $5,000 worth of diamonds when I go back to Brazil. And I was like, well, that doesn't sound correct. You are a CPA.
Maybe it was an investment.
Yeah, totally. And there's some other weird stuff.
Gosh.
And that's when we thought, okay. So we went through all of that. My dad actually does live in Brazil because he married a Brazilian woman a couple years after my mom passed away. So they live in Brazil. He has a child. He's well taken care of. But it took us a long time to get to that point where we could get him solid. And it was right before the pandemic. So it was right before the pandemic. I get my dad back to Brazil. I have my life again. And I think that is just when everything drop.
For a lot of people.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that timing, I think, I knew that I was drinking too much. Chris and I had talked about collaboratively we're drinking too much, but really I think that meant Andrea's drinking too much.
I love that. When you put it on yourself to get the other person.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done that.
He's like, I think we really should talk about this. And I worked in the addiction field for 5 years and worked with folks who we were literally getting them off the street, many straight from prison back into society. And they had very long histories of substance abuse. And I thought, like, I've never been on the streets.
You have a husband, you have a house, you have a job.
I have a job. Like, I'm totally fine. Thank you very much. And yeah. And so I think but I do remember there's this thing called AM criteria. And to be honest, I don't remember what it stands for, but it's essentially when somebody goes into treatment, they ask you all these questions about how much do you drink? What kind of substances do you use? How often? Blah, blah, blah. What have you lost? All these things. And if I was honest with myself, I met SAM criteria for inpatient treatment. I met that criteria. And the first time I did that test, I thought, well, I'm done with that. I don't think that's true. That's not going to be me. Speed up 5 years or more.
I think it's harder to see it, right? When stuff, you're still functional.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of functional alcoholics.
Oh, and I made a ton of excuses and rules
and
around,
a ton of money.
it.
You're drinking. And I think when you're successful, it's harder to see it. Let me tell you, because when you're locked up, you see it, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, I see a lot of people that don't see it because they are successful.
And you feel like, at least for me, I felt like I could compartmentalize it. That's what I do on my off time. And I show up to work and I do the things I need to. And am I doing them at all to where I should be doing them? No, that's not possible. Not when you're drinking. For me, a normal evening and not even partying that hard would be like 3 vodka sodas and maybe 4 beers.
Wow.
That's a lot of booze.
Yeah.
And for me,
They say more than 4 a night is a problem, 3 to 4. So you doubled it.
don't tell me how to have a good time. Yeah, I think about that now. And my first AA meeting was downtown and it was a newcomers meeting. And I went to that meeting a few times and I liked the meeting. I liked the people that were there. But these women were coming up and they were talking about how they had just got out of treatment and they did 30 days there. And my thought was, God, that you must really be bad if you're going into inpatient treatment. And not looking at them as if they're terrible people at all, looking at them thinking, there's no way I could uproot my life, go into a treatment facility and do this. Like they're clearly in a spot that I'm not.
Yeah.
And not a week before that, I was walking home from the bar. We lived very close to the bar. And it was the fall or it was getting winter. It was cold. I had my backpack on because I had just come. I went from work to the bar to home. So I had my backpack on and I'm on the street of my house and I fell. And I thought, I'm just going to take a little nap. This seems reasonable. I'm just going to take a little nap and it's going to, yeah. So all of a sudden, this man who I did not know came up and essentially picked me up off the sidewalk. And I pointed to where the house was and it was eyesight. You could see where I lived.
Wow.
And it was my neighbor who I'd never met before. Thank God, have never seen again. But he took me in to our apartment and Chris was cooking. And this guy said something like, hey, brought your wife home or something. Chris was like, all right, let her in. And he was just so tired. He was so tired. He was tired of me waking him up in the middle of the night because I was having nightmares and trying to find my cat who had died, getting up in the middle of the night, full on leaving the house. Dude was tired of my bullshit.
Yeah.
And then not a week later, I'm in that meeting thinking, I'm not that bad.
You only took a nap on the sidewalk
with your backpack on in the winter. And that I think was part of a turning point for me, was the sidewalk situation.
Is that what got you to go to AA, or?
What got me to go to the AA meetings was my addiction saying, if I do some stuff, maybe people are going to leave me alone.
Yeah.
If they see that I'm trying to do a few things, then maybe it's going to be a little less tense at home. And so I did. And then my brother-in-law, his clean date is December 24th. And that's when we all gather in Chris's hometown in Central Oregon. And I was still...
He owes me a coin.
Yeah, I know.
Just for the record.
Yep. He'll hear this.
Yep.
So I was still very deep in my addiction, knowing at that point, knowing the other shoe was going to drop, knowing my time was limited either in my marriage or in my drinking career. Like, I knew that. Chris never vocalized that to me, but I know this guy so well.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's too healthy to live with somebody who is so sick and refusing to know how to get out. I just didn't know how to get out. I had worked in social work for so long. I had all the resources at my fingertips. I still didn't know how to get out.
Yeah, and you're kind of smart about that stuff.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
When I was in IOP.
I can tell you all the things. And when it came to me, I had such fear around it. And I didn't want anybody to know, because I work, at that point, I no longer was working in the treatment facility. I was doing something else, but like, I had worked with folks struggling for 5 years. And then having that thought of like how did I turn to be an alcoholic? And is that really what I am? Now, if I put these rules into place, okay, just Wednesdays, I can drink during the week. And on the weekends, of course, because that's like fair game. And all the rules, just break them all. I was so shocked going into a meeting and somebody saying, oh yeah, I had all these rules and I broke all of them. And I thought, oh my gosh, that person did that too. And that's really where I got. So my brother-in-law got clean and sober. I was still a mess, but he was going to extended family and he was going to lunch bunch. And I would listen in sometimes when we were back at their hometown, and I'd listen. And then I did go to treatment. I went to treatment in February 3 years ago. And it was right at the people are starting to come out of the pandemic. And I swear to you, they went from the pandemic into treatment. Just packed. Everywhere is packed. You can't get in. You can't, it was just.
Isn't it crazy that, don't you think it's crazy though, that liquor stores and dispensaries were open the whole time of the pandemic? I think they didn't want to riot.
They did not want to riot.
Yeah. Yeah. You could get alcohol and weed during the pandemic.
And delivered to your home.
Yeah. Delivered.
I mean, that was like before Uber and all those other things became insanely expensive. They were like pretty cheap, actually. They just show up to your house. It was like, I don't even have to go anywhere.
I think a lot of people not being able to go to the bars, socialize.
Yeah.
Became drinkers hard even more.
You could drink by yourself because then it was more like acceptable. Yeah. Because you couldn't be around
Day drinking
people.
Was acceptable.
Yeah. And our friend Marty, that's when you could drink during work and no one could tell because you're on the computer.
Yeah, it's very true. So when I got to treatment, it packed to the gills of people.
Wow.
And I knew so I knew all leading up to this, I knew things were not great. I knew the next shoe was going to drop. I tried to detox at my house MLK weekend. So before I went to treatment, I can't even tell you what month that is in, but that was the weekend I detoxed at home with medication. So I have Kaizen addiction medicine, and they are really good about if you try to detox at home and you don't have medication and you don't have a plan with a doctor, it's very dangerous. I don't think people talk about that enough. Like just quitting drinking is not an option for so many people. And you won't know that it's not an option for you until something really bad happens.
Yeah.
And it's not something we talk enough about.
I've been so lucky because I tried to quit on my own, and I sobered. I went through the detox and everything. I probably could have, I was this close to having a serious issue.
Yeah. And
those times.
Yeah.
I didn't know this until maybe 8 months ago.
I think we talked about it.
No, I was talking to my aunt, right?
Oh.
And we were talking about addiction. And I said, we come from a long line of alcoholics where alcoholism is hereditary. And she said, oh, your grandfather used to check himself into the hospital. And I was like, what? Like, you knew he drank. I knew he sat at the kitchen table with a drink. And I knew him and my mom would argue. But he was always so nice to me. He'd always tell me, oh, Julie, I can't stand your mother, but I love you. And so, because he wasn't mean to me or anything, I didn't relate it. But knowing that he had to check himself in the hospital multiple times, and sometimes that's the best answer.
I never went to the hospital, and I probably should have a few times, mostly like from being too intoxicated. Like, I'm sure I was hospital ready.
Yeah.
But I also knew enough about, and I had heard enough horrible stories and scary stories and people dying of detoxing by themselves. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do that. Because I've already had, if you drink as long as I did for as much as I did, I would start detoxing in the middle of the night. That's where I was at, I was detoxing in the middle of the night and then having to get up and go to work the next morning. And that was just having stopped drinking 10 o'clock at night. So I knew that it was dangerous. So when I decided treatment was honestly my only option, because I needed to be plucked out of my space and my reality, put somewhere for that reason. I know the statistics are not great for inpatient rehab, but it was going to be a solid 30 days before I could drink and maybe I'd figure something out. And so I don't suggest for this next part that anybody do this, but I didn't know about work. I didn't know, like, I am a part of a union, but I didn't understand like what I needed to do for people to understand, like, hey, starting this date, I'm out. So I brought in our HR guy and my supervisor, who was a fairly new supervisor at the time. And I scared the pants off of both of them because I was like, okay, so I brought you here today because I'm going into treatment. I'm going to be gone for 30 days. I need to know what that looks like because I'll be coming back. What I did know that I had protection because addiction falls under the Americans Disability Act and FMLA. And they can't fire somebody who's under the American Disability Act. And so I did know that. I don't know if I did enough research, but they didn't fire me. And they said, okay. And my HR guy said, you don't, like, in the middle, he's like, you don't need to be telling me this.
You don't have to disclose it.
Why are you, what are you doing?
I love that you bring this up because it's something that so many people don't know.
Yeah.
And they're so afraid of losing their job.
Yes.
One of my family members, same thing. And it's no, you call this 800 number. It's all confidential. You don't have to tell your work anything.
Don't out yourself.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Let's speak from a professional and a manager point of view, right?
Yeah.
And give some help to maybe somebody who listens, who needs this.
Yeah.
Contact your EAP, your employee assistance program, if you're with a big enough company. Okay. They can get the balls rolling for you 100%. And your doctor just has to write that you need FMLA. They don't have to tell them why or anything else. And truly in Oregon, which that's where we're located, there's the Family Paid Leave Medical Act. And you can literally keep your house because that's what people are worrying about and stuff while you go through treatment. You have 12 weeks and it only takes 1,200 hours of working, which is about 8 months for you to qualify for FMLA. And the most you qualify usually is 12 weeks short-term disability. But there is a lot of ways for you to go through treatment and keep your job. And a lot of people worry about that.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose their home. their car,
Yeah.
their bills, their family.
Too afraid to even bring it up. And I was in that position too, and not knowing, because how would you know?
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to not let it on that you're in this state.
Let me tell you, it's easier to get treatment than when I got sick. That was harder, getting the notes and whatnot, and not suggesting this, but if you need it, contact your employee assistance program.
Yeah. Don't invite the HR person and your supervisor and tell them straight out that you're going to
because then they
treatment.
can request mandatory UAs.
I'm sure they could do that, but then thankfully I got out of that pretty unscathed. But now I think about it, and
there can be a stigmatism around this.
Exactly.
And you don't have to share everything. Right? Like, I also learned that getting, like, my early part of getting sober is like, I would just share too much, or like it with people I knew, but you don't need to. That's not something that, it wasn't helpful for me. Getting my early days of sobriety.
Is that when I met you?
Yeah. So I was actually in those meetings long before you and I, and before I talked to anybody.
I was probably working because
you were. Yeah.
So there's a handful of you.
Yep.
The Colette, the Marty, you. There's a handful of you that I didn't go to extended family before then. I was always working.
Oh, yeah.
And I started going to extended family because it was the meeting I could get to. And I went and I heard Jean, Jean speak. And I just wanted my face to stop hurting. And I just sat there and listened and cried. But that's when I met a lot of the Colettes, the Martys, and opened my heart to the newcomer.
Yeah.
Before that, I rolled with my crew. Yeah. Average age, 65.5. You know what I'm saying? Now their average age, 80, 77. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't talk a lot and I wasn't super consistent in going.
But you were cool.
Yeah. I didn't talk. I only talked when somebody asked me something. And even then I was like, it's hard.
That's when I took it as a challenge. So in person, and I'm just going to out myself. I don't want to fucking hug everybody in the room.
I'm not a bit.
I'm not Julie, it takes a lot out of me. And then if you sneeze, I'm worrying about holding your hand after the serenity prayer. I'm just a fucking weirdo and I can admit it. Okay. But online, because I type 95 words a minute, I can do the Zoom room, say hi to you, welcome you. And that's where I got with you. Just, hi, Andrea, happy to see you, and stuff like that. And I can say hi to 36 people in the meeting and give them a virtual hug. Yeah. Okay. Because now I don't have to touch you.
Yeah. And I don't need to be touched.
Me neither.
I don't need it. I probably do. And that was, my emotional sobriety or wellness is still on its way. But of course it is. It's only been, I've been trying this for 3 years. And I don't want to sell myself short. I have been working on getting sober for 3 years. I have had many ups and downs with my sobriety.
You've had many successes as well.
And I've had many successes. When I know that I felt as safe as I do in extended family was one night, and Julie, I know you've heard me say this, but one night I had just come from a relapse. And my early relapses were like weeks long. And they took so much out of me. And then they shortened, and then they shortened, and then they shortened. And I've a little over 5 months now. And which is great. And the last time I drank was for one night. And I didn't even get very drunk because I didn't buy enough beer. And I got too drunk to be able to drive. And I guess you just screwed yourself out of that drunk.
People look, because I've been in AA a long time. However, okay, I have the same story. Okay. First, I got sober to not have a drugged out babe. So that was 10, maybe 12 months. Then I got sober again. And the last time I got high one time and went and told the parole officer. I just lucked out that when I went to AA, I was so scared to get in trouble and so scared to not be a good mom, I stayed.
Yeah.
And I always say it's easier to stay, but I don't know anybody that does it perfectly.
Oh, heck no.
You know, and everybody's story is unique, but it's the same.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And when they talk about, and I don't quote the book often, but when they talk about immoral, comparable, demoralization,
Yeah.
we've all been there at different
Oh,
levels.
yeah. Sometimes you're on the sidewalk with the backpack on.
Yeah.
I love
right.
that. I want you to know that I fucking love that. Okay.
That's where you end up.
This is a good place for a nap. I love that.
Yeah. I think I'll be okay.
Oh, for me, bathroom floors, kitchen floors.
My favorite one with you is when you hid the booze in the wood stove and you had ash on your face and you thought you were slick.
I don't have anything here. And there's ash on my face. They're like, where'd you hide it? I'm like, I haven't hidden it anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no hidden,
Can I tell you it's my favorite story
Oh,
from Peter?
Lord,
They thought he
Peter.
was slick.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I thought that's a place I'll never find it in the little wood stove.
No. I'm in a women's group and when I've been with them now for like 2 years and I'd go back. It's like, I relapsed. And they're like, I bet you, the big joke is, I bet you didn't get caught this time because I get caught every single time. Normally it's myself outing myself, but then it's like the bruising and me searching
Right.
for things and Chris finding it. So the other thing, when we were talking about how people come in and get into the program, and I think Julie's heard me say this too, is I never subscribed to the idea that you have to go in for yourself. You have to get clean for yourself.
I'm going to politely disagree.
I know. And for me,
I think you have to get to that point.
yes.
Okay.
100%. So I think for me, it was like, I couldn't make a healthy decision for myself at that time. Like I was so sick, mentally, physically,
Emotionally,
everything
spiritually,
just
yes.
fucked
Yeah.
in every certain way. So if you're looking to me to make a healthy decision for myself and say, you should be doing this for you, you are climbing up the very wrong tree.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you're going in for Aunt Sally who died 18 years ago.
For your husband, because you don't want to lose your marriage.
And that,
For my
know?
job.
yes.
Yeah.
And that was mine. It was like, I had been married to Chris for so long. And it's not just because we've been married for so long, it's because we have a life together and we like it. And things are going.
And you love him.
And I love him. And that's why I did it. But I could not be decisional for myself. You know, it was just like, I knew I had to do this.
Yeah.
And then eventually, if it doesn't become intrinsically, if it doesn't become inside where you're like, I like this more because of me and this is what I'm doing and I'm seeing all these, great outcomes. If you don't start feeling it inside for yourself, you're not ready. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
But getting myself through the door, nobody's going to take advice from me at that time. I'm not.
I don't know, but I will tell you this, and I will tell you this. I think, and I don't want to get emotional, but I think it's so courageous to come back. No, I'm
no
scared to go out. Okay. It's not courageous. Okay. I'm scared to do more research, especially with my drug of choice.
Yeah.
Being an IV drug user and with fentanyl and all this other shit. Now I'm fucking paranoid, but I do agree with you. And the first 6 months, I just wanted to get off parole. And I will tell you also, I didn't realize until I went to IOP. So 25 fucking years sober, right?
Yeah.
That really, I just was safe
Yeah.
and I wanted to stay safe.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like these guys were absolutely my safe place in the world until I realized I didn't realize that every move I made was to make sure that I wasn't involved in bullshit, because with bullshit came trauma and drama, and it was my safe place. And I have to tell you, if you don't feel safe in your meeting, find a different one.
100%.
Yeah.
And I am not somebody yet who does the steps.
It's okay.
I think the steps are great. And at some point I will probably do them. But I go to that meeting in particular because I feel like those are my people. That
This is Andrea. Peter. She goes, how do you get a home group? And I was like, you just pick us and we're your home group.
Raise your hand when they
Look at
say.
that. So then after that, we're like, well, home group members, please raise your hand. Here's Andrea. I got a home group. And I was like, welcome to your home group.
do I have to do anything? No, you don't. I was
You
like,
don't.
okay.
Just raise your fucking
I was like,
hand. Yeah.
great. And those are like, I think having and me being a Zoom host for as long as I was, because if you give me a job, like I'm going to show up.
Service. It's Peter's done it. We think the podcast is service.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
for
I think the
sure.
podcast is like some of the best service we've ever done.
Yeah.
Because trust me and Peter don't make money off of it. So it really is service.
Yeah.
But I think that service keeps you connected,
Yeah.
even
Yep.
when you don't want to be.
Yep.
And truly, I didn't have a service commitment the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And when I got off parole in October, May, June, July, September. So October, when I got off parole in October, I took the Friday secretary position. And because I was scared, if I didn't have to get my slip signed, was I gonna go? And so I took the secretary position. And I talk about this. This was at our meeting, but our meeting was in a different church. And you had to carry the fucking coffee pot up a flight of stairs and another crate where you had to carry the literature and what you read and shit.
Yeah.
And my fat ass did not want to go up and down those stairs with the coffee pot, the water, and the books. And I sucked it up and did it. And usually talk tie-dye Steve into carrying some of that shit.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first got sober at East County, that was my beginning of my real commitment to it. I cleaned ashtrays. They still had the, not inside, but outside, they had this little covered area. And they're like,
And
go
have you
clean
ever
the
smoked?
ashtrays.
Yeah.
I did way back, but not then. I wasn't
Yeah.
a smoker, and
Yeah.
it was disgusting.
I smoke, and that would be disgusting. Like I would like
Yeah.
not want
Andrea
to do
smokes.
that.
And you feel
Yes.
like it's demean, like I have to go clean ashtray. They're like, you got to earn yourself
Yeah.
here. Of course, that meeting was a little more hardcore. They had a lot of core rules.
Yeah, I'm sure. That was what I was
That's
afraid
like
of
Scully's.
too.
Scully's is hardcore. I went
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah,
And it was a room of smoke. And I know, like, I've never felt so uncomfortable in any meeting. I was like, but I had heard about it, right? So
Yeah.
I wanted to be cool. And
right.
just like I want to go to Rose City Men's
Yeah.
some fucking Thursday. Okay. I just want to walk in there and be like,
Here I am.
here I am. If I have to call myself Jose for the night.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was afraid of AA for a long time because I didn't want to be told how to do this. Which, if we're honest, probably made it a lot harder for me to even go to treatment to begin with. Because I didn't want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want.
Me
So if you
too.
tell me that I'm never going to get sober if I don't do X, Y, and Z, I'm just not going to take that well. And that happens in some meetings for some people. And I have never been told that in our meeting.
You have to make the program your own. And I think if we've learned anything from all these
Absolutely.
episodes,
Yes.
everybody has a different way.
Yeah.
We've never
Of
heard the
going
same
about it.
story.
If you reach recovery, if you can get into recovery, who cares how you got there?
Yeah. And it's the connection piece
Mhm.
that Julie talked about. It's like once I found that, and a day after I had had another relapse, Barry, who is our father time in extended family.
I fucking love that man.
Oh my gosh. I have a whole thing. I'll have to show you. I know we're probably up against time, but he has these quotes, right? Barry has a ton of
We
quotes.
don't shoot our wounded.
We don't shoot our wounded.
That's a good one.
He told me that, or I don't know. I don't think it was even to me, but he said that in a meeting right after I had come back. And I think he did say it to me because I was
He did.
feeling shameful, all the things that I
Yeah.
felt after real, and no, we don't shoot our
And me,
wounded.
I'm always just for me, just seeing your face. Hi, I'm glad you're here.
So
Love
good.
you, Chica.
Yeah.
And you know what though? I think that is you as well. And so what, your program isn't perfect, but you showed up for me and Peter at our that night at Out in Recovery, you came.
Yeah.
That was our first event we had ever done live.
Oh,
You know
I didn't
how
know that.
loud it was
Yeah.
fucking there. Right? And we're trying to record a podcast.
We had no agenda. It was like,
They moved us three
Oh,
times.
yeah.
right.
And
Yeah,
then it's like, okay, now we're going to have you interview this. What, where? Right here. I'm like, here with all this noise. Come on.
We got to see
Yeah, it was crazy.
Painted Horse Recovery,
Yeah, we saw
True
so
Colors,
many.
Skylar.
Yeah.
But see, you put yourself out there to show up for us as well.
Skylar was one of my clients,
Wow. I love that.
which I'm not even, I think it's been long enough to where it's probably fine. But
He'd probably take pride in it. I know my boy.
just such a great guy. I loved him the second he walked in.
I want you to know, as Peter,
Yeah.
when he did our show, I was like high afterwards. And when he talked about Paranoia Park,
Yeah, downtown.
that was, look, we had the same vision. There was fucking people watching us from the
Yeah.
window. And that was my spot. So I understood. And
I was the, oh gosh, the employment specialist at a day program
Oh.
that
Yeah.
he was at. And he
his
was like,
positivity is infectious.
Yes.
and he was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to be a rapper. And I said, I think that's great. I think we should do something to get you money first so we can get that off the ground.
And here's the crazy shit. This
And now look at him.
motherfucker is a rapper.
Yeah.
and now
Yeah,
look
and
at-
has a following.
yes.
And has the most beautiful woman who sings
Yeah.
that song I like, Walk
Yep.
on Water. I love that freaking
Yeah,
song.
it was-
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Recovery
he's
is-
just a shout out. He's on the Road to Recovery tour. This is the third year
Wow.
where he goes into prisons and speaks and
He
shares
gets
his
to go
story.
and like that.
He's podcast number 22.
Talk about infectious. Like the way he speaks, the way just people want to be around somebody.
Yeah. He
Who
is
has-
infectious. That's a great word for
Yeah.
him.
He is.
Yeah.
And he just spoke at Another Chance last week, which is one of
Oh,
our spots.
yep.
And John Morgan, Colette went, and she's on
Yeah.
our board of directors. So it's amazing. But I will tell you something I believe about treatment. Treatment can get you clean
Yeah.
and it can get you to think that way. But you have to have something afterwards. I'm not saying it can't be done.
Yeah.
But not very many people go into treatment and stay clean without something,
Yeah.
some kind of support. And I'm always talking about foundation. Our group is my foundation. And I went to treatment a few times.
Also, for me, I had to let go of a lot of things because I had in the beginning, my life was in separate compartments. There was my sober,
Oh, amen.
but then there was my norm and my work, and they were all didn't cross over.
Yeah.
And I had to. There was times when we were on our way to a party, and I literally had to turn around. I was in
Yeah.
panic mode because I couldn't do it. Which is okay because if you don't feel
Totally.
you can, don't go.
And you don't know what you don't know. That's what I learned straight away. It's like, I didn't know that I was going to be as uncomfortable as I am right now at this party. Before I came, I thought I could drink or not drink. I thought I could be around
Others drinking.
others drinking. And I was just going to take my same life that I had, just take the alcohol away. And I didn't know what I didn't know. And what I didn't know at that time is that was not going to work for me.
For me, I had to change every single fucking thing except for my hairdresser, which I just thought about yesterday. She's the only person I know from before using.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go
I
to
knew
a
her
club
before my
and
daughter.
when I went to the clubs, first thing was beeline to the bar to
Yeah.
get that. And I knew the back ones had shorter lines so I could get it quicker. So that's
Yeah.
where I'd go. And then I remember going when I was in my early sobriety and group went and I was so uncomfortable. I was sweating. It
Yeah.
was just, and I had to get out of there.
Yeah.
And which is okay. It's okay
It's
to
fine
leave.
to do that.
And
Just
this will take
yourself.
your own car if you have a car.
Yeah.
So you can leave
Yeah.
at any freaking time. For me, I'd always work functions. I'd always be like, yeah, I'm going to show up and I'll eat some food with you. And I would always be the first one that dipped, especially when they started to get loud. And the next day I'd hear stories and I'd be like, man, I'm so glad I went home. Yeah, no, for real. So and so and so and so had a $300 bar tab. And
The other thing that's changed too, I think, is as I got more comfortable in the program and I found my people, my group, that became more part of my life.
Yeah.
And I do more things now with sober people and sober friends. And when we go to events, we're together. So we're there. It's almost like you've got your posse to get your back.
Yeah.
And so that really helped a lot too. And now my life is
you are part of my posse, Pete.
Yeah.
Just so
and
you know.
the thought of going to a party and drinking, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just not there anymore.
Yeah. I'm so happy by my brother-in-law, for one. He's been one of my closest people forever anyway.
So Peter, her brother-in-law is, and I'll take you there. We were at gratitude night and the guy that played the piano when Liaison sang, when they said they were playing for me. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's her brother-in-law, Matthew.
Okay.
And that night was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. When they did their thing, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah. And
to see two guys up there that I know, or they, and it was flawless. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great to have Matthew sober. He was sober just a few months before I got in, but
does that help at family functions?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And there's the thing about their family is it never felt judgment.
Nice.
Even when, I never felt judgment I felt my own judgment.
I felt my own judgment all the time. Yeah.
I felt less judgment from them, and that extends to like his extended family as well, than I did with like our own friends who still drink. And I don't think our friends meant to feel like I was feeling judgment, but you get the looks of,
oh, you're not drinking.
No, they were totally fine with that because remember, I was a disaster. They were great on the Andrea no drinking train. But if I went places and you'll see people like scan to see what you're drinking, scan and take a look.
Oh.
And these are also people that I've known for 20 plus years.
So Andrea not drinking is new.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like the last 3 years. Yeah. I drink with all of them.
I have to tell you, for me, the fact that you have those friends and it's hard. Like not necessarily the drinking thing for me, but I tell Peter all this time, if you're actively using or you're just, and I'm talking about IV, I have an upset stomach instantly. Yeah. We had one podcast where they went pretty deep into it. And I thought I was going to puke. I had to get up and go to the bathroom. It physically, and I'm getting better, I would say, with time. But
I think also for me, as I get older and my crowd gets older, it's more and more. And plus, we're in times when NA is the thing.
Totally. It's great.
And you can go to restaurants and have these cool mocktails and feel like
they're still going to cost you $12.
Yeah, exactly.
Every event we go to, they start serving us mocktails, and me and Peter will be like, this one's okay. This one's not good. I'm like, this one tastes good.
But we are, I feel like we're in an age right now, like you were saying, Peter,
it's cool
people
to be
are
sober.
drinking less and less.
Yeah.
People are, and I thought like maybe it's because we're in our mid 40s now, and I can tell you my body no longer can handle it. But other people's too, is like as we're getting older, it's like, oh, this isn't working out for me as well as it did before. But it's really a general shift. Like people are.
There's a lot of things that aren't working out for me that did before.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So that's been great. And my friends, they've all been very supportive.
I think people that don't think they will be accepted will find acceptance even more.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then that person might not be the right person to be in your life.
And absolutely.
Yeah. If they want you to drink with them, no, I'm just saying, and you know that that's not good for you, then are they good for you? And I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to our audience.
Yeah. I had to come to terms with that because I felt that the people that I was with, my friends, quote unquote, were going to judge me for not participating.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have something in my hand, that I wasn't going to be accepted and I was going to be shunned or whatever, those weird thoughts that we get. But the ones that continued, they went on their way, and I don't associate with them anymore.
Can I tell you, it's a hard lesson to learn, but truly when you're going through the shit, no matter what you will learn who your foundation and who your real friends are. When I went to prison, I learned really quick.
I bet. Yeah.
That's really quick.
Yeah.
So-and-so made how much money for me? Did you ever put money on my book? No. And my one real friend, she died of an overdose after I got out. She's on welfare.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any money and wrote to me every week. Sent me $20 for my birthday and said, I don't have much. Wrote a letter to the judge when I'm going to trial and said, she's an awesome mom. I just want you to know. You figured out. Came to our meeting because I have this thing when I first got sober. If I only ran across 2 people, but if I ran across you and you wanted to hook up, I'll be at this meeting at noon and you had to meet me there or you didn't meet.
Yeah. Thankfully our friends have been like the people I've been close with have been really good. But there is those looks. They don't want me. They're not going to be handing me vodka.
How do you deal with that?
The look or like the making sure. Is that what you mean? Being around drinking, it's not my favorite. But it's also like I'm fine with it. Also, I don't know how to make that.
That don't make sense. So it's not your favorite, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's not. So I was just in Italy last month.
The wine capital of the world.
Wine capital of the world. I don't know that there's a robust AA scene there. I'm just going to, because people were very confused. Like, oh, are you sure you don't just like one glass of wine? And the reason I'm bringing Italy up is because there's 11 of us.
Oh, wow.
And many of who are not in recovery. It was just Matthew and I were the ones who don't drink, don't do anything. And
I'm so glad you had him.
Yeah, me too. And I had Chris, and I had all these people though too. That's the thing is these are also my crew and have been for 2 decades.
And that's good.
But there are definitely looks, like I think people making sure you feel a little on the babysitting side of things, even though
I think with time, right?
Yeah.
It'll become, Andrea doesn't drink.
Yeah, totally.
It's become that way with and my family and friends that I still have from the drinking days. Now it's just, it's not even a thought and I think
I love that.
The looks.
Yeah, me too.
The looks that you bring up, I would wonder how much of it is you thinking you're noticing looks as opposed to them actually looking, because that was my issue. It was on me.
Yeah. Because you're like I'm hyper aware.
Yeah.
Of like what.
And you're smart. And when you're smart, I swear to God, you're smart. You can overthink yourself. I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Because when I was drinking, I could walk into a room and I could tell you exactly how many bottles of wine were on that table. And I knew which color I was going to drink because it would be the one that people aren't, so that there'd be more for Peter.
Yes. Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah. And you had to be hyper aware in that sense. Yeah. So and I think you're right, Peter. I think people probably weren't paying that much attention, but I also think I'm right. And
it might be a little bit of
I think it's both. And so while it's not my favorite to be around a household of people who are partying because they're on vacation in Italy, it also was I go to bed early. And honestly, the drinking didn't start really popping off until later evening is when you're going to see people kind of sloshy. And I'm going to be upstairs watching my cooking shows.
I love that.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And that's a safe plan. That makes sense to a lot. I will tell you, you were talking about earlier, Peter, about keeping everything separate, the job, the whatever. This week was a huge step for me. And first time ever. We took this ethical class, right? I've taken this class a million times. Not a problem. You got to take it every year. It's Sprint. You got to take it. This company asked something different.
Oh,
They said, do you have business outside of this employment? And I'm like,
That's interesting.
it was. And I said, yes. I'm part of the Real Recovery podcast. And I will tell you how
Please.
good it felt to be 100% honest.
yeah.
And if they were going to say, oh, it's a conflict of interest, I was going to choose the podcast, but it's just the opposite. When I got there, my first week was on May 19th, and there was 2 weeks and some, like a day, to get in the grant that you nominate people for grants. And I wrote GTD down. And my company is sponsoring the 5K
Oh, wow.
for
Oh my
GTD. And they're going to be there on Monday to take pictures. And seeing
Wow.
this whole world come together in a proper way, I have not hidden that I'm in recovery.
Yeah.
I have not hidden the fact that we
Yeah.
do the podcast. I haven't hidden anything. I don't announce that I went to prison. It's
Sure. Sure.
it's 31 years older. You did my background check.
Yeah.
Okay. But I will tell you that it was a first for me,
Yeah.
other than when we were at my kitchen table, which at my kitchen table, it was overwhelming. When we did the first podcast, both of
Our
us,
own stories.
it was like
Yeah.
being naked on a stripper pole in front of the whole
Yeah.
freaking world,
Yeah.
where I had kept professional Julie, manager Julie, AA over here, recovery in the middle, but never all together. And it was like, this was a first this week. And I have to tell you, I was like, I feel so freed.
Yeah.
And my boss said, don't worry, it's not a problem. And I was like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is if depending like on who hears this particular podcast, I have not announced.
That you're in recovery.
No, our old clients don't know who I see. I mean, I don't see them all the time, but I do see them a lot out in the world and try to make it when people have their birthdays and those sorts of things. And they don't know I'm in recovery because it's part of that. I think it's part of that shame working
It is.
in this field and being a helper in this field.
I'm grateful I went to prison because it gave me the time out to get sober,
Yeah.
but I'm not proud of it. Okay. I'm never going to be proud
Yeah.
that I had to lose my freedom. At least I'm not ashamed of it like I
Yes.
was, but I'm not fucking proud of it.
Yeah. There's so many
Where I am
things.
proud to be an addict in recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some pride around that. Yeah.
I do too, because my life has changed dramatically. And as we talked about on the last episode, we had a kind of a catch up. And I talked about going through this cancer treatment and it's being diagnosed with cancer. And I thought, oh, there's a death sentence.
Yeah.
Revisited my whole life. But I had so many tools. I have so many tools from recovery that I've been able to apply to my
Yeah.
situation. And it's just every day that passes, it's wow.
And you sound better every week and you look better every week. For our listeners, you know, when it was your AA birthday, right? I posted
Over
Last
there.
Sunday.
I posted a chunky butt picture of him because it's the one I had. I'm just telling you, you look amazing.
Yeah.
And
I just don't think I would have come through
Yeah.
it to this point.
Yeah.
And I know the future is going to keep getting
Yeah.
better without the foundation that I
Yeah.
have that comes from this recovery program.
we're
Yeah.
going to be on Oprah someday, Peter, just like we dreamed. She's got, or Kelly Clarkson, or what
Kelly
I'm thinking
Clarkson.
is Drew Barrymore now.
That'd be nice.
That's-
Drew would be cool.
That's the one I'm thinking now is
I
Drew.
would go Kelly Clarkson.
Really?
That would be, yeah, I don't know what I would say to her, but
I've never been to Vegas, and she's doing a
my
Vegas
sister's
residency.
seeing her next week.
Oh, see? And I've never been to Vegas. We could include all
you
that
could
and
put in
some
Vegas.
Janet.
When you talked about that and having like that background and
Yeah.
dealing with things, and Julie, you've been in recovery for so long, like having all of that like self-evaluation and just really it's counseling. I mean, we're in recovery.
I
You're
think
doing all
I've been
this.
sober for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think I've had different times of recovery.
Yeah.
But I think the last 3.5 years, I've really been in recovery.
You've done a lot of like counseling and stuff. And,
Yeah,
like, learning.
I think the therapy was really needed.
Huge.
And I tell Peter this all the time. The podcast has let me process some of the hardest memories and know, one, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
When I can see a grown man sitting across from me on that couch that has been molested and I don't have to cry about it no more.
Yeah.
And know that I'm not the only one and not the only one that had a secret. It's amazing. And Peter has helped me process work stuff.
Yep.
I signed an 18-page NDA and work stuff and some really hard memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sponsor was out of town and I called Peter freaking out. And the podcast has done that. Like, I hope it's service to other people, which we get told all the time, but it's sure been service to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having that base in recovery and then going through something as serious as a cancer diagnosis and all the treatments, and as serious as you going through your old memories that of the things that you had been through as a kid, not having the recovery piece and if you're somebody that is in addiction, I mean, I don't know how you would get through that.
Yeah. I don't know that I would have gotten through it.
Yeah, without being like, F it.
Without the tools that I have, that I've learned.
When people say they're grateful for being an alcoholic, they'll introduce themselves like,
I'm a grateful alcoholic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a grateful alcoholic. The first time I heard that, I thought, what is that? You can't, how are you grateful for not being able to drink and go out and party and hang out and that you cannot be grateful? That's a bunch of bullshit.
Other than my child, it is the thing that I am most grateful for.
And now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Even though I have had struggles, but I no longer, when I hear,
we're here for you.
Yeah, I do.
Open arms.
Fantastic. We don't shoot our wounded. But I honestly, it took me so long to not have the judgment of, is that just something we say? Just like we say the preamble, just like we say such and such. Why are people saying they're grateful addicts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, because I never would have looked at myself as hard as I've been looking at myself the last 3 years to not only improve myself, but to improve my life with my husband, to improve me being a better friend, me being just a better person all around.
Yeah.
And I only was able to do that because I sat in those rooms and I heard other people's stories and I heard my story throughout their stories.
Yeah.
And I knew the similarities. And I have a really good therapist. She's really good.
Me too. And you know what? The one thing about you is I noticed that you notice, okay? You'll be quicker to notice than I notice when someone hasn't come back. And that's the hard thing, is that we come in, and I think that was scary for me as well. Yeah. We get close to someone and then we never see them again.
Like, where is someone?
Which is why I think for me, for the longest, I went with the safe choice, the Al's, the berries.
Yeah.
And then my world, like I said, the last 3 years has really opened up to new people and different people. And I think that's also through us going different places and different things that weren't my norm, my comfortability out in recovery. There was a whole bunch of people that were just 30 days, 60 days, 90 days sober, and seeing them and just hoping that they stay.
Yeah. Yeah. It is when I don't see certain people, or maybe somebody has a commitment to the meeting and they're not there. And do we know, like, where's so-and-so? What is?
You don't want to think the worst, but it seems that's
where your brain goes because that's where addiction goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where my brain goes too.
Yeah.
It's not, I think, and I'm like, oh no. And I have somebody, that I've done 90 and 90 with. I've done the gratitude list. I've done 86 through 88. Like all these different things with this particular person over 5-6 years. Because I just want you to know and I want you to get it. They haven't so far.
Yeah.
But I hope they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope they do.
Yeah.
And it's wrong if I stop because then that's my bad. Yeah.
But I don't know. Then you've got boundaries. Then you've got all the,
So I'll tell you this. I'll meet you at a meeting.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
I'll do 86 through 88 with you. But look, doesn't mean we'll kick it.
Yeah.
That's where my boundaries go.
Yep.
I can love you in a meeting. I can politely disagree with you in a meeting because we're all there for the same purpose.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I kick it with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be not at all. So I've opened that up. And it's because of the Skylers, the John, the Colette, the Martys. But it used to be, if you went out, like it was a scary place for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I want to thank you so much for being here. We're coming up on our time.
Yeah, I'm sure we are. Thank you so much for.
So did you feel comfortable like the mic wasn't there by the end?
Did you forget that we were recording?
Yeah, and I can talk too. So it's like,
I love it.
But
no, it was great having you tell your story. And I'm sure that there's others out there that are going to get something from it. With no doubt, every episode we do touches somebody and probably multiple people.
Oh my, I love your podcast. So when
I love you being on it. One, you're part of my home group. And two, like, progress is progress. Nobody can take a sober day away from you.
Nope, not
We've
at
all
all.
had relapse.
Yeah, I know some others that I've talked with. Oh, I have to start all over. It's like, you're not starting over.
It does feel that way as the person started.
I felt that way too. But that was one of the things that I was told when I came back was like, no, you've got all of this history.
Yeah. And you still learned all those things.
Yeah, you've learned.
When you get to start over, you aren't dead.
You're not dead.
Amen.
Right.
You didn't get.
So keep coming back, as we always say.
Yeah, just show up.
And if you can, don't leave.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that's the safe bet, just so you know.
Sorry, just one other thing really quick. We do not have to post anything, but like when people would tell me like, Andrea, oh, welcome back. I'm so glad you're back. And I'm like, I was literally here yesterday. You guys just know now that I had a relapse, but I didn't understand the welcome back part. It was like, but guys, you saw me yesterday. You're welcome back.
I always send you on the down low. Hey, Chica.
Yep.
Or a heart.
Yeah, it was like more like our older guys were like, oh, welcome back.
Well, when I see some of those people come back,
so happy.
Just my thought is hopefully they'll stay this time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
I want to thank you too for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks again.
And I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for helping me grow.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I mean it.
This is Peter with the Real Recovery Podcast.
This is Julie and
Andrea.
Thanks for listening.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks to each and every one of you for lending us your ears and hearts. Your engagement is what fuels our passion and keeps this podcast thriving.
We cherish the moments we share here and hope they resonate with you, whether you're on a daily commute, at the gym, or just taking a moment for yourself.
Make sure to head over to our website at realrecoverypodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter for the latest insights and uplifting stories from our community delivered straight to your inbox.
Click that subscribe button on your favorite podcast player too, so you can keep up with every new episode. It's your support that keeps our conversation alive and meaningful.
And if our stories have touched you, consider using the donate button on our site. Your contributions, no matter the size, are deeply appreciated. They help us continue our mission of sharing hope and healing.
Join us beyond the podcast and follow our journey on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter. All the links are on our site, so you can stay connected and be a part of the Real Recovery community every day.
Your likes, shares, and comments not only spread the message of recovery, but also remind us that we're all in this together.
So until we meet again, remember that recovery is a journey, not a destination, and we'll be here to accompany you every step of the way to recovery, real recovery.
Thanks for listening.